Okay, so we'll start back. So Nayan is asking, please repeat image part again. So in the research.php, you would have you have seen that whatever I write here, if I remove everything, I only write Anup. If I only write Anup, so Anup will come. Anup is coming. Whatever I write, it doesn't matter. Anup is fixed, so Anup will come. Now, when I was writing row username, so the name was appearing. Now I have to show image. So all I need to add is an image tag. Now for this image tag, what source should I set? So source will be all the images are inside this folder, img folder. So source will be img slash, and all the images are saved with the name of the user, like abhishek.jpg, amit.jpg, anup.jpg, anu.jpg. So that's how the name is row username dot jpg. Since this is a PHP variable, that's why I have written it outside of this double quote and added a dot as a concatenation operator. Or otherwise, what you could have done is dollar name equal to, and put this dollar username here, control X, done. And then here you can simply write dollar name. Done. Here also you can write dollar name. So in this way, the image source is img slash name.php, whatever name is user's name is. And then after that, the name of the user is printed. Okay. So this is the image tag. I have simply added image tag with the source as image slash name.jpg. And of course, I have reduced the size here, width equal to 20 pixel. Next question. Aniket, sir, if we have thousands of users with starting with AN, then how to optimize it to show only top 10 result? Well, this part is not in my scope. I do not want to go into detail, but because this is a database part, how to write a query in database to limit results. So there is a limit 10 in this query. Select asterisk from user where username like percentage key. After that, you write space limit and 10. Suppose I write limit 2, so only 2 result will be shown. So only 2 result will be shown, though there are so many names starting with A. So this is for Aniket. Second, next question is, please explain what is function data. So this is when you will learn more about JavaScript and jQuery, this is called callback function. So callback function means once this any function is executed, suppose that in this example, we are doing a post request. So once the post request is completed, what has to be done? So that function is called callback function. So now here data is of course a variable and it contains whatever is the response of this post query. So data contains the response of the query. So what is the response? This research.php, the entire search part. That's why I have put the entire data into HTML. Now I can write here, it's not like I have to write data here. I can write here variable also. So only thing is, same thing has to come here. Because whatever is coming from database, I am putting into the suggestion div. Still it will work. Okay, so data or variable, whatever I write here, it is the response which this post AJAX query has generated. Data is a object or variable. See, it's a variable here which contains the object which is returning from the. Why it is variable? Because I can put, instead of research.php, I can put index.php. It is not a fixed object. Every time its value will change depending on where I am querying. So it's a variable. Any more question? Vatsala, any other uses of AJAX? Yeah, we'll go. One more usage we will see. Okay, let us, so we'll close this. And let us go back to our day 3. So day 3, there was one geolocation. Just copy this and paste it here. Geolocation.html. Okay, so you remember geolocation.html. So what we were doing is we were getting the geolocation and then putting that inside a paragraph. So let us run this geolocation. We just, so geolocation.html. Okay. So once I click on, it will ask me whether I want allowing to know the location, allow, and then it is giving me the value of lat and long. Now if you remember, so now if you remember, I was talking about one of the um, reverse geo encoding. It means that if you pass lat and long, it will return you the information like what is the city, what is the state, what is the um, country, continent, everything it will return. Now, so uh, one So one this API we saw by Big Data Cloud, so which is a free client-side reverse geocoding. So what we will do is we will use this to get the location of the city, state, and country. Okay, so let us get this values. And now this value, it is it's basically an API. API means you are calling something using some attribute and then you are getting some information in return. Okay, so so for that we will be using again AJAX. So I will send a request to this API, bigdatacloud.com API, and whatever response it shows me, that response I will display it on my page. Okay, so let us start with the API. Now, what is the URL of the API? It is shown here. So this is the URL of my API. So I will click on copy. Now URL is copied. So I'll go back here. And now instead of displaying the directly the value, I will use a AJAX query. So AJAX query $.get. So this time I'm not using post method because this API is on get method. So I will use get method. Done. Now first part is URL. So suppose I write where URL equal to, and then whatever URL address I had copied, I will paste it here. So this is the URL, reverse geocode client, which I copied from here. So, so this is the URL. Next is the parameters. So parameters basically, params equal to, a parameter should be into this. And what are the parameters? So let us again go back to here, which will tell me what is the parameter. So there are three parameters. One is latitude. Second is, let me make it bigger. Okay. So there are three parameters. One is latitude. Second one is longitude. And third one is locality language. Is it visible? So one is latitude. Second one is longitude. And third one is locality language. So one by one we'll write. So latitude and value, and then longitude and the value, and finally, what was the third one? Locality language. So locality language. Now for the locality language, it is fixed. So I will write EN. And where is the latitude? It is in position variable. So position dot coordinates dot latitude. And where is the longitude? Position dot coordinates dot longitude. Done. So my URL is ready and parameters are ready. Now next part is I will run the query, AJAX query. So $.get, first parameter is URL, second is params, and third is a callback function. So function, and suppose this time I will say response. So response, semicolon, done. Now this response, if I directly want to print this response, so what I will do is p.inner.html equal to response. I will convert this response to JSON. So JSON dot stringify. Stringify is for converting it to a JSON response. So response, done. Okay. So I have a URL. I am using parameters. Parameters require three things. One is latitude, which I will get from position.coords.latitude. Second one is longitude, which I am getting from position.coords.latitude. And third one is locality language, which I am setting to EN for English. Now, next is I am making the AJAX query. So $.get, first will be URL, second will be parameters, and third is the callback function. And in the callback function, whatever response is coming, I am converting it to JSON string, JSON.stringify, and pasting it inside p.inner.html. Okay. Now, let us see how does this look like. So click to get location, and you can see the entire JSON string is printed. Now, I don't want to print everything. All I need to know is few things like locality, Bangalore South. Then okay, many information is not there. I can use city is not there, but Karnataka K is there. So continent code. Oh yeah, it is there here. So country name is there. Then principal subdivision is there as Karnataka. So in this way I can print. Let us print one by one. So how do I print it? So response has the response as this object, and then I will use the, for printing individual value, I will use the dot operator. So dot city or dot locality and so on. So let us print this. So this time I will remove the entire response. I will only write response response dot what first. First, suppose I print locality. So dot locality. Then I will add a comma, and then after locality I will print the, suppose uh, Karnataka I have to print. So I will use principal subdivision. So let me copy paste it. So plus response dot principal subdivision, again comma, double quote, space, plus this time I want to print the, suppose country, so country name. So plus response dot country name. See, remember the difference. In PHP, dot is used for concatenation, but in JavaScript, plus is used for concatenation. So if you want to to concatenate two strings, means basically add two strings, so you have to use plus operator. Okay, so this is the difference. And then for from a object, if you want to show any member, you use dot operator. So response dot locality. Like here, p dot inner HTML. So inner HTML is basically one data member of this object p. Now let us see the output. So click to get location, and it is showing Bangalore South, Karnataka, India. So in this way I can, so this is a second example of using AJAX for getting information. So in this case we are using the the API call for getting the response. Next question is, Damni, is what is that response? Is it predefined? Yes, it is predefined. You can go here, response format. It is predefined. What will be the response? It is predefined. So it will depend on what is the latitude and longitude, and then it will show you the response. So like this is the response view in JSON format. Okay. Karnataka, Bangalore South. So this is our geocoding. So these are the two examples that we have seen. Now I want to go for the third example. You can work it out. The third example, you should work it out yourself. So third example will be for uploading an image using using this AJAX. So that will be your assignment. So assignment will be okay. So this is your assignment. Upload any image using AJAX. And I will share the submission link and password in the second half. But this is the assignment. Upload any image using AJAX. Now, so AJAX is done. Now next we will move on to JSON. Any question till now? Two participants raised hand. Okay, tell me. Okay, fine. Then we'll move on to JSON. Now, what is JSON? So, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Big word. So basically, JSON is used for data transfer or data interchange. So I want to send some data. I need to I want to send some data to suppose from one computer to another. So I need to format the data in a way that the other receiving end, he could understand the data. Okay. Now there are few ways of displaying the data. So one method that was earlier used was CSV. Okay, so what people will do is, so earlier what people will do is like, let me give the name uh, test.json. So earlier people used to use CSV, which was comma separated file. So like Anup 30, comma Anup at cdac.in, comma something like CDAC. Next will be Assis, comma 32, comma Assis at ubi.in, comma ubi, and so on. So initially people will use this kind of files, like this is called CSV, means comma separated values. So each row will be one user data, suppose. So each row is one user data, and inside that row, all the information will be comma separated. So like first is the name, second is suppose age, third is email, and fourth is the organization name. Now, the problem is this was like first you need to know that what are these fields represent. Okay. So suppose after this I write this. Now you do not know what is this, whether she is the personal secretary or she is the girlfriend or she is the wife or she is the teacher. You do not know. So in CSV file, you need to first know what are these fields and what do they represent. Okay. So that was the problem with this CSV file. Second part was if some data is missing for a user. So some data is missing for a user, then parsing is a bit difficult. So like for this row, these two values are there, but for this row, these two values are not there. So these are some small problems with the CSV file. Now after that AJAX came, now sorry, XML came, and then the latest is JSON format, in which we convert the data into human readable form. So like this, name and colon, no, age, colon, suppose 30. Then email, colon, and so on. And then this, I can put it on next row. So each individual is a JSON object. Okay. Now for this JSON object, I will make a comma separation, and finally I will put all into a array. So notation I will tell you later, but for now just understand that JSON is a data interchange format, and then the data is in form of key value pair, so that you understand that what is this information representing. So the problem of CSV is now resolved, because now you know for each information what is it represent, what does it represent. Okay. So this is a data interchange format. So if you want to transfer data from one system to another, you convert it to JSON and then send it. So it stands for JavaScript Object Rotation. It's a lightweight text data interchange format. It is language independent. So what does it mean? That basically you can use any language for parsing it. So it's not like it will only work with PHP or it will only work with Java. It can work with anything. It has nothing to do with language. Everyone supports it. And JSON is self-describing and easy to understand. So as I showed you here, that it uses some key value pair. So in that way, you know what is this data. Now let us go to how this is written. How this is written. So I will delete this. So first thing is, to represent a JSON object, we use curly braces. Okay. So this is for representing a JSON object. And then each property is represented using key value pair. So like name, and the separator is this, name, and value is suppose Anu. Okay, so this is key and this is value, and this entire is a object because it is in curly braces. So curly braces represent the object, and key value pair is written like this, key and colon value. If there are multiple key values, then simply use comma operator. So like age 32, something like that. Now, so this is the object and this is the key value pair. Now, third thing is that there may be something which takes more than one value, like mobile. So this mobile key takes more than one value. So for that, we use this big bracket operator for array representation. So array representation, in this I can write 888 something something, some number, and second number comma 708888654 something, this number. Okay, so only three things are there. First is key value pair. So each data will be written in key value pair. Second one is this curly brace, which is used to represent an JSON object. And third is, if any field takes more than one value, then we can use this big bracket symbol for denoting an array. So these are the only basic three things. So this thing, so data is in name value pairs. It is separated by commas. Curly braces hold objects, and a square bracket or this big bracket, it is for holding the array. So it represents basically array of some value. Now let us see another example. I will come back. We have come back to first example. Now in the first example, this is one object. You can see this is an object, and then these are the key value pairs. And then I put a for readability. I'm just putting it for readability purpose. Okay. Now see. So this is an object, JSON object, because it starts with curly braces, and the first key is implies, and then implies it is itself an array because there will be more than one imply. So that's why I'm using array. Okay. And in this array, each value, so in this array, each value is itself an object because each imply will have more than one information. So name, age, email, anything other like imply ID. So for each object of imply, I am using another object, which is separated by comma. Okay. So this is a combination of object and arrays. So this itself is a one imply. Now, where do we use it? So next question is, where do we use it? So we can use it. Usually, I have used it in for data transfer in like AJAX also. What I can do is I can send the data using JSON, and when I receive the data, that will also be in the format of JSON. So that is one example. Second example maybe, so in data transfer. Second example maybe is a database. So in MongoDB, the data is stored in this format. So this is like one row. And similarly, I will add another row, third row, fourth row. So in MongoDB, the data in the table is not stored in row column format. It is stored as a JSON object. And then you need to write code for accessing and manipulating this JSON object. So any query in understanding this JSON? I will just repeat. Curly braces denote an object. Key value are separated by colon. An array is represented using this big bracket or a square bracket. And that's all. Only three facts you have to remember. So now you can create a JSON object. Any question? How to include this file? We do not include this file. We will read this file. Or otherwise, if you want to include, you can use something like include function. Anyway, this file is a file. Where do you store any file? In the directory. So like images, where have you stored? In an image folder. So same way, this is a JSON file. You can create a folder or you can directly store. Here like it is directly stored in test.json. Okay, now next part is reading from this, reading from a JSON. So if you have a JSON object, how you can read from JSON object? What is XML? XML will learn tomorrow. There is an entire day for XML. Okay, so we'll see JSON.php. So in this, first I will try a small JSON. So where JSON, suppose I put it where JSON equal to single quote, done. And inside this I will write name colon, suppose okay. So consider this is a JSON object. Now for this JSON object, we will use, so one key value is name Anu, another one is age and 30, and third is mobile, and there are basically two mobiles. So that's why I have used the array notation. So 888 and 999. Now I need to get the values. So for getting the value, I can write object equal to JSON dot parse. So this is an inbuilt function. So JSON dot parse, and I will pass the JSON to this. Okay. So this will parse. This will parse the JSON string. Now done. Now if I want to print anything from an object, so from an object, if I want to print, what should I use? So this is a JSON which has three values, key value pair, name and age and mobile. And since there are two mobiles, that's why here I am using the array notation. And then this is an inbuilt function JSON.parse, which parses a JSON and then converts it to an object. Okay. Now, how do you get a value from the object? So just now we saw in this geolocation. So we use dot operator. So dot the value. So same way here also, object dot, suppose I want name, so object dot name. So parse is an inbuilt function JSON dot parse. Only I have to pass this value. It will parse, and after parsing, I can print using the dot notation. So object dot name. Let us run this. So it is printing Anu. Okay. Now, uh, if I have to print mobile, so mobile, and now there are two mobiles, which basically it's an array. So I can use either 0 or 1. So suppose I use 1, then it will print the second mobile. 999. Okay. So this is how I can parse any JSON object using JavaScript. So just a simple function JSON.parse, and after that you can use the dot notation. If there are many values, then you can use array notation, or you can use even loops. So this is using JavaScript. Now next. Next using PHP. Mayur is asking in alert want to give level where it would be. Well, थोड़ा late हो गए. Here itself you can add in double quote mobile 2 colon this plus. So just it's a string. So simply use the concatenation operator. Now if I run this, you can see mobile 2 999. So this is how you can put a label. Okay, Damini is asking, what could be the alternative for JSON for file transferring? XML, CSV. Just now I was talking about it, CSV or JSON, XML. Or even TXT file you can transfer. Okay, now we'll focus on PHP part. Now PHP, you can use an array. So like array equal to array. So suppose in array I use name equal to Anu. Then same array I will add designation equal to designation equal to and then mobile equal to, now mobile is not a single value, I have two mobiles suppose, so I will use again array. So mobile is another array where first value is 888 and second value is 999. Done. So this is an array which is showing my which is showing a name designation and then mobile, which is again another array. Now for converting an array to JSON, we use JSON underscore encode and then pass the array. Okay. So JSON underscore encode is for encoding this either object or an array to JSON format. Now let us run this. So you can see this. So it has converted it to a JSON, array to JSON. Okay. Now suppose I save this JSON into, so this is example of array to JSON. Next is suppose that I have a JSON like $JSON equal to, and I will copy paste this one itself. So suppose I have this JSON and I want to parse it. So means get the value one by one. So a step is that I need to convert it to a JSON object. So object equal to JSON underscore decode. So decode is for converting from JSON to object. So decode, and then I will pass the JSON. Okay. So now this JSON is converted to an object. And for displaying in PHP, if you want to display any member of this object, then you need to use one operator is there, $obj, and this arrow operator, single arrow. And then suppose you want to print age, so you write age here. Okay, so JSON encode is for converting any array or object into JSON, And then JSON decode is for converting any JSON back to an object. Now, one question is that this object is for which class? So there is a class, a standard class, stdclass. So this is an object of a standard class. So let us first print this age and see if this age is coming or not. Yes, the age is coming. Now, that is fine, but let us print first this entire object so that you know how the object looks like. How this object looks like. So here you can say this is a standard class object, and what members does it have? One is name, one is age, and another one is mobile, which again is another array. Fine. So now if I want to print mobile number, so echo dollar object and this arrow operator for getting the mobile. So mobile, and then after that, since there are two mobiles, so I can use any notation. And then I can write any label like the mobile one and use dot. Now let us print this. So you can see it is showing mobile 1999. Okay, now remember this is very confusing and many times a student do this. First thing, this dot operator. So dot operator in PHP it is for concatenation, but in JavaScript plus is used for concatenation and dot is used for accessing the members of an object. Second thing, in XML, sorry, in JSON, colon is used for separating the key value pair. So if I have to separate a key value pair, I have to use colon. But in PHP array, this is used. This arrow operator is used for displaying this associative value, key value pair. So in PHP, this is the operator. In JSON, this is the operator. Similarly, this is for concatenation in PHP, but plus is in JavaScript. So remember these small differences. Okay, so so we learned about JSON, that how we can what is JSON basically, and then how it is, how do we annotate a JSON, and then how do we access a JSON, how do we create a JSON using PHP and JavaScript. All these things we have seen. Now, next thing is in AJAX, we were sending data as XML. Now we will try to send the data as JSON. Okay, so I will make a copy of AJAX 1. So copy, paste, and rename it AJAX, or I will name it AJAX. Okay, and search.php also I will copy and paste it, and this time I will make it search.php instead of research.php. Done. Now, so let us go to AJAX. AJAX. Where is our AJAX? AJAX. Now, earlier I was sending the data like this. Okay, so parameters equal to this. So earlier we are sending data using parameters and this. Now since I have to send using AJAX, so I will use, using JSON, so I will use um, here, I will write JSON dot stringify. So JSON dot stringify params. So only we have to change it here. So parameters directly won't, I will say send, I will convert it to JSON. So JSON dot stringify and parameters. Done. So on the AJAX part done. But in the, yeah, of course, the research part will also change to search.php. Now, next part is going to search.php. Now, earlier I was not using JSON. So I was getting the value like this, $key equal to $_post. But now this won't work because now I have converted the data type to JSON. So how to get the JSON? So $JSON equal to file underscore get underscore content and then PHP colon input. So to get the JSON content, we use this function file underscore get underscore content. And then this is the JSON. So of course, just like here, I showed you JSON.php that this is a JSON, but to access this JSON, I need to convert it to object. So I will convert it to JSON underscore decode. So $object equal to JSON underscore decode and then pass the JSON. Done. And finally, it is in a object format. Now I need to get the value. So to get the value, what is the key equal to $object and what is the operator? This arrow operator. So this arrow operator. And then what is the name of the field? So name of the field is text. So I will write it here, text. Done. That's all. So what were the changes? So first change was simply the file name. So it is nothing. The main change was converting the parameters to JSON. So JSON.stringify params. Okay. Next was to receive the JSON. We use this function file underscore get underscore content and use PHP colon input colon / input. And then once I get the JSON, I need to convert it to an object, a standard class object. So using JSON decode, and after decoding, I will get the value using this arrow operator. So arrow operator text will return me the key value. Let us see if it works or not. So AJAX.php. So it is working. Okay, so it is working. So so it means now I am sending data using JSON. Shekhar is asking, does that work as a pointer? No, it's not a pointer. No, it's not a pointer. It's just a notation to access the object members. So to access any data member inside an object, we use this. So like if you remember JavaScript, dot is used. So in PHP, this is used. Now, so this is done. Now next part is, so this time we send the request in JSON format. So this was the request, JSON.stringify parameters. So we sent the request using JSON format. Now I want that I will return the object also as JSON format. So for returning the object in JSON format, all this row username, this should be converted to a JSON. So this entire, all the rows, it should be converted to a JSON. So how do I convert it to JSON? So what I can do is I can create an array. Suppose $array equal to a blank array. Okay. And then in this array, I will keep adding all the rows. Done. So, so I created a blank array, $array equal to array. And then in this array, I keep adding all the rows that I am receiving directly. And finally, I will encode into JSON. So JSON underscore encode, because I have to convert it to JSON. So I will use $JSON underscore encode. So this will convert this response into JSON. Now remember, since I am adding the entire row to this array, so it means not only name, email, and organization will also be inserted into this array. If I only want to add a single value, so I will have to use this username. So in this way, only username will go. So this is how I am sending the JSON object, by encoding an array into JSON. And this array has all the rows. In fact, only the username of the row. Now in this AJAX part also, I need to handle the JSON. So this, it means the return, this variable, or let me put it to data back. So this data is basically a JSON object, because in the search.php, I am outputting the JSON encode. So it means that whatever is coming inside data, it is a JSON object. So for that JSON object, what I can do is, one way is that I can simply use JSON.stringify, and in the bracket I will put data. So it will simply convert this JSON to a string and then add it to suggestions. Let us see how does this look. So if I write A, now you can see that all the name with this A is coming here, Abhishek and Amit. But since there was a limit, only 2 names are coming. Just go back to search.php. I think I had put a limit for displaying. So I will remove this limit. Now if I type A, all the names are appearing. But this is in JSON format. So I need to break it into so I need to break it into individual values. Instead of JSON, I will convert it to values. So how do I do that? So dollar, so I will create an object equal to JSON.parse, because this is the function we were using for parsing. So JSON.parse data. So this will parse the data and create an object. Seeker is asking which technique is useful to use. Everything is useful. It's upon the developer what do they want to use. Rishabh is asking, please repeat this line number 33 to 36. Okay, so 33 is nothing. Only thing is earlier I was using directly parameters. Now I am changing it to a convert to JSON. And for converting, I am using JSON.stringify. That's all. Now, Damini is asking that it is separated by comma like CSV because it is all only values. Can you see it is all values because it is in a bigger bracket. I am only showing the names. I'm only sending the names. If you see here, I'm only sending the names, usernames. If I do not send the names, I send the entire row. Then let us see how does this look. Can you see now the object has come? So now the object has come, which has entire thing like username is there, email is there, and organization is also there. So what I want to send from search.php, that information will be displayed here. Now, so I will change it back to username. Now here, so we know that this data which has come, which it is in JSON format. You can see here, it is in JSON format. So I need to change this data, basically parse this data so that I can display it in some other form because this form is not useful for showing. Okay, so let us do this. So I will parse this value, json.parse data, and then so I can parse this data, and let us first print one name. So object 0. Because I am getting only names, which is an array. So all names will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Save this. So it will only display single name because I am using the 0th notation. So only one name will be displayed. Ashish, Anup. So only one name will be displayed. Now, if I want all the names to display, then I will have to use a for loop, of course. So for suppose I equal to 0, I equal to 0, I is less than obj dot length and I plus plus, and I will create a string, or let us create one a string equal to nothing, and I will in each for loop I will keep adding a string equal to str plus object at ith position, and then after each name I will add a line break. Okay, so what I am doing is I created a blank string. In that string I am adding each object. So in the object currently all the names are there. So one by one, name 0, name 1, name 2, it will be added. And after each name I am adding a BR for line break. And then inside this object HTML I am adding the string. So I am parsing the object. Now this object is a array. So that's why I am just finding the length and then iterating through it and adding it to a string, and that a string I am putting in that a string I am putting here in the suggestion box. Let's see if it works. I hope it works because JavaScript always there is a problem. So it is working. So an, so anu and anu. Okay, so this is how, so this was the example where I was sending data in JSON format and also I was receiving data in the JSON format. So for sending, I was converting it to JSON.stringify. Okay, so for sending on the search.php, I was receiving the JSON and then converting it to JSON object using JSON underscore decode. Now for sending a JSON, I was converting whatever row I was getting inside, I was putting it inside an array, and finally I encoded the array in JSON format. Now again back to our AJAX. Here I was receiving the data, this data function data, this data was in JSON format. So I have to convert this JSON to object, and since object has multiple values, Anup, Abhishek, Amit, all those names. So that's why I was iterating through this using the for loop, and in the for loop, whatever value I'm getting, I'm adding to a string, and to add a line break so that each name appears in next line. And then finally in the suggestion box, I am putting that string. So this is the example of AJAX where I am sending data using JSON and I'm receiving data using JSON. Okay, so that's all for today. Tomorrow we'll start with XML.